Oh, we're up? You gotta tell me these things.
I told you.
No, you didn't. Bobbed your head.
What?
No, I'm just waiting on you.
Oh, I don't have to join you to it.
I know. Are we up?
I'm just waiting on her. You're all right.
Oh, well, you gotta tell me these again. You gotta tell me these things. Anyways, hold on a second.
Sorry, I thought we knew what we were doing.
I clearly not. Catching up here now. All right. Anyways, here we go. Talking Scared with Alex. Trying to get myself set up here so I can see what's going on too. See if that's gonna stay. Maybe. All right, cool. Looks like it's gonna stay. Be chill. All right. So, anyways, a couple things we got coming up. Obviously, this is Talking Scared. We are going to be talking with Alex here very, very soon. She'll be joining us here in just a few minutes. While we're waiting on her to join us, a couple things we got coming up. We've talked about it already a little bit, but Wells Township, we are going to be heading up to their haunted attraction, their Lights Out tour on March 16th. Excuse me. Very, very excited about that. Can't wait to get up there and see what's going on up there. We are approaching 2,100 likes. It keeps on growing. We thank you all so much for that. It is absolutely amazing to be able to bring this stuff to you guys and for you guys and gals to seem to enjoy it. And clearly the numbers keep on growing. So as long as the numbers keep on growing, we're going to keep on doing this. We also want to send a shout out over to Experience Terror Team, mainly Moist the Clown, Chris Burke, or the original Talking Scared, the very first one to do it. Want to give a shout out to him and some of the stuff he's got going on over there. We have tagged him in a few things and everything like that. So be sure and go check him out, man. He just recently had a live stream go on for a little while. I think he's got some more coming down in the future. See what else we got going on. Bear with us. I know we're running late on a few things. Shock Theater has been a work in progress. We are trying to do it right. We're trying to learn all this new equipment. And we just want to give you guys the best production that we possibly can. It means we've hit a couple snags, a couple slowdowns, and everything like that. But it should be coming here very, very shortly. We're going to work on getting it finished up, finishing some final editing tonight. Hopefully have that out for you tomorrow, Saturday at the latest. Also, Black Eyed Children. We are working on that one, getting some few things done as far as that one goes. Probably going to film that one as soon as we're done here this evening. Contest for Killer Friday. And I don't understand why you guys don't have any love for my boy. I just don't get it, man. Joe Matheny gets absolutely zero love. And it's a shame. It's an absolute shame, man. The guy... The guy went out of his way to make hamburger out of people, and he can't get any love for that. Jane Topin is going to win, barring some miraculous comeback. We're still waiting for Alex to log on here. Running out of announcements, though. That's factual. Let's see, what else we got going on? Education, where we talked about that. We got Clinton Road coming up after Black Eyed Children. Talking about the Devil's Tree as well. We got a video of our trip to Clinton Road. We took a trip down there, drove all the way down Clinton Road, checked out the Devil's Tree, everything like that. A lot of rumors about the Devil's Tree, and about, portal to hell and everything else like that. Think we got her coming on now?
Second. Hello.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. We are glad to finally get this going.
Right.
Super excited to talk to you. So Alex, she works with STAG and their haunted attraction and their immersive horror experience, I believe would be a more adequate way of describing it. Currently a student at Michigan University. What are you studying?
I'm studying secondary education. So I'm at Central Michigan University, getting a degree in secondary education, double majoring in English and school health with a creative writing certificate.
Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. It's always interesting to see these people that do these different things, that do these different haunted attractions, who they are in real life. It's always cool. It's always different. So we're actually going to be kicking off our family vacation with you. We're going to be heading up to Stag for a cult. We're very, very excited about this. Never been to Stag before. We just got back from Shock Theater, so we're pretty stoked to kick off our family vacation with you. And you also did Private and Addiction, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, Addiction was the first show that I did, and we just did Private. We wrapped that up a few weeks ago.
Okay. How was it?
It was really, really cool. So Addiction, I just kind of like popped into it and I got kind of thrown into my scene. I ended up being in the promo video, which was really cool. And I was like the first scene that people would come into. So I was like half in it, and then I would like see people right when they started. But Private, I was in a lot of it. There weren't that many of us that were acting, so we had to really like do a lot of different roles, and we took on a lot more like actual theater roles. So that was really cool.
Cool. Very cool. And obviously, you're going to be doing a cult coming up here in July.
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement with Stag. How did you get involved with Stag to begin with?
Okay, so this is like the strangest story of how I actually got involved with STAG. I saw a Facebook ad for auditions, and I was like, what is this? Like, why is this popping up in my feed? Like, what's happening? Usually my feed is all stuff about like books because I'm like a super nerd. So I was like, all right, well, what the heck? So I clicked on it and I was like, oh, STAG sounds interesting. Like, I don't have anything to do over the summer. Like, sure, I'll try this. So I went to auditions. I met Blaine, the creator, and we hit it off. She's super nice, really welcoming and inclusive. And I was like, sure, I'll join this. And I just kind of threw myself in.
Okay, cool. So you talk about auditioning a little bit. What was the experience like as far as actually auditioning for Stag?
So we were given scenes, and we got like put into a room, and it was like, okay, pick a scene to read. There was another actor who was there who has been involved with STAG, so he was like our companion in the scene, and so we had to perform the scene kind of like on the fly right then and there, and then we had
Cool.
to like talk about our comfortability with like physical touch and like how close we're willing to be with someone. Since STAG is immersive, we get very close to people, so we had to kind of show like how willing we were to be to get really close. And at one point, Blaine told me to scream as loud as I possibly could, and I was like, okay, sure. So we were screaming, and I walked out, and I was like in and out in like 15 minutes. And I walked out and I called my mom on the way home, and I was like, Mom, I don't know what I just did, but I think I had fun.
Cool. All right. So if I remember correctly, you said that scary really isn't your thing,
Oh,
and that
not at
you
all.
yourself have you haven't been through anything like this, immersive or even like a traditional walkthrough haunted house or anything like that.
No, I am a mega pansy. Um, I know. I watch scary movies because my best friend makes me watch scary movies, and
Okay.
like I hate it. I sit there like my palms get sweaty. I like sit there and I start like pulling my hair. I'm like, what is happening? Like I can't do horror. Like I get so scared. I'm self-admittedly a huge pansy.
Is being involved with STAG, is that opening up that horror side of you maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, I would think so. I have a lot of fun with Stag, and I like that I can be on the other side of it because I know what to expect. So, I mean, like, even if, like, it's fine because I have read the script, so I know what's going to happen. But I think that Stag is almost scarier in a way because we deal with a lot of like real topics. So, like, addiction, like, that was real. Like, we were replaying like real scenes that people might have already gone through. So, that was almost more terrifying because it's like psycho horror.
Heard. Sorry, we have ghosts in the house that sometimes knock my phone over and stuff like that. Just gonna let that stay down. She'll probably just knock it over again. So anyway, immersive hunt. They're kind of their own breed, and they're really starting to become more on the rise. Really kind of becoming parallel with the traditional haunted house experience. Just to walk through, I don't get touched. And now these immersive haunts are almost taking their place in certain aspects. Everyone's wanting to get that real life scare feel. Have any thoughts on what's kind of driving the public to want to get, I guess, involved in the real life horror movie?
I think people are just trying to feel something. Like more than anything, like people just want something real. I feel like even with books that I'm reading and stuff, like it's less about like the fantasy. I mean, obviously there's still a time and a place for fantasy, but people want to learn about real things and they want to experience real things. And STAG is a way that people can experience something like addiction or a cult or perversion, and they can experience that for a short amount of time, and then they can walk away knowing that it's not, in their world at least, it's not real for them. So I think they just want to experience the unknown, but like the very real and close to home.
That is a hell of an answer. That's that. I like a good answer to that question. We ask that question a lot in various different ways depending on who we're talking to, but that's probably the best answer I've heard for that question. So very
Thanks,
well
thanks.
thought out. Of course, STAG has a general storyline. I'm sure you're talking about a script and everything like that. But how much do you get to ad lib and just kind of I'm sure kind of gauge the guests and how much they can play and banter back and forth. But do you get to ad lib a lot, or is it kind of stick to the story?
Oh no, it's definitely ad lib. When we're rehearsing, we have a script like that. It's generally like, okay, well, if someone says this, then maybe do something like this. But what we do is based off of how the victim, so we call like the person who goes through, they're the victim. So how they react to something. So like with our private show, we had 4 victims that went through, and every single person, like one of my big scenes, like every single person reacted completely differently. So I had to be on the fly that whole time of like, well, I want to push them. So I need to like have in my head like at least 3 or 4 things that I can do depending on how they react.
Okay, very cool. I'm not gonna lie, having this interview with you, so we're talking to you, and we're gonna have when we head up to do STAG, we're gonna talk to Blaine as well and have an interview with her. It's a little intimidating because we kind of feel like when we're coming through, you're gonna feel like, oh, cool, we can just fuck with these guys hardcore, and it doesn't really matter. Is that probably a legit concern? Something we should be worried about, maybe just a little bit?
No. I mean, when people go through that we know, then we're like, all right, yeah, like we know them. We know that they're cool with this. Like we know that their limits are probably a little higher. But honestly, like it gets pretty confusing when we're going through and we have like multiple victims, especially for like the summer show. There's a lot of people going through. So we're really focused on like, okay, we need to make sure we're providing the same experience for everyone. So, I mean, you're probably not going to get messed with too much more. Maybe a little bit,
Good.
but probably not. I mean, everyone should generally have the same experience. We wouldn't want someone to get like special treatment because we know them. Like that isn't really fair.
I get it. I get it. No, that's cool. That's cool. We're not looking for extra stuff. The clients or the victims, I guess, that come through STAG. You ever get one that kind of makes it hard to stay in character, just somebody that's not willing to let go and just get lost in the theater experience? And if so, how do you try and break somebody out of that and get them to play along?
Yeah, we definitely had that last year. So like the very first scene that they would get dropped into, so my scene was a heroin addiction scene. And so like people would literally get put in there, they would be asked to say the safe word, and they were dropped like right in there. So that was like the first thing that they really got like pushed into. And people were still a little bit shaken up. They were like, what am I getting into? Where am I? Why am I in the place that I am? Like, who is this person? Why is she here? And I would just do the best that I could to get them interactive and actually doing something. So I would have people hold my spoon that I was cooking heroin on, or I'd have them like using a lighter. Like I would do the best that I could to give them a role. That way they were like being put into it, and like I was almost forcing them to take a character in that scene. So I mean, yeah, people generally that are going through it know that there is going to be some sort of suspension of disbelief and that they need to let go. But getting into that for a second sometimes gets a little rough. But we also know that like during the summer show, our scenes are like 5 minutes tops most of the time. It kind of varies here and there depending on what's going through. But like if I feel like I'm going to start laughing, I just have to hold it in and I'll just wait until they're in the next scene and then I'll let it out.
Okay. All right. So haunted attractions, haunted houses, kind of the horror genre in general. And again, it's so interesting that all of that's not really your thing, and yet you're amazing in one of the most immersive, intense haunts out there. That's so cool. Um, but they do get kind of a general kind of a taboo. A lot of people kind of look at it as, man, why would you want to be involved in that? Why do you want to do that? Why would you pay somebody money to do those things to you? Um, is there anything that you would say to that crowd if you had, the opportunity to speak to them?
Yeah, I mean, even like last year, so like I said, I was in the promo video and I was like sharing it on my Facebook and I was like sending it to my friends. I was like, "Hey, look at this thing that I'm doing. Like, I know this doesn't really like me, but look at this." And everyone was kind of like, "Why are you doing this?" And I was like, "Well, why not?" Like, we all this is going to sound really philosophical, but I think that we all have our vices and we all are looking for things that we are attracted to and ways to let go. So for STAG, like it's almost cathartic for some people to go through because they're getting to experience a life and a world that they maybe would never be a part of or wouldn't let themselves be a part of. So like STAG is their chance to let go and to be completely immersed in something that they normally wouldn't be. So I think that's what's really like attractive to people about it. That's what I've kind of noticed as people are going through. But also like I don't really care about the taboo. A lot of people, I guess, kind of judge me just because like I'm going into education and I have tattoos and piercings and I do this thing called STAG, and they're like, that doesn't really fit. But also like, what does it matter? We're all just kind of
Yeah,
looking for a way to enjoy ourselves. So if we're not
absolutely.
hurting anyone and we're having fun, then what does it matter?
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. Again, man, I love her answers. She's got some good answers. All right. So, Stag's real secretive for the most part. They don't really talk a lot about the shows, and even past shows, they don't seem to really let out a lot of info on it. Do you get friends and family that's kind of like, so just tell me the inside scoop. What really goes on in there? You gonna
Um,
deal with that too much?
yeah, I've had some people who are like, what's going on? Like, are you sure this is safe? I know my mom was really concerned. She was like, are you sure this is safe? And so one day I was like, all right, mom, like, let's run by where we're doing this. Like, let me walk you through all the scenes. I was like, Blaine's there. She's setting some stuff up. I was like, let's go walk through this. And my mom was like, this is so cool. I'm so proud of you. And I was like, oh, thanks, mom. Like, this is great. Um, I definitely get people asking, they're like, what's going on? Like, there's not a whole lot of info about this. And I was like, but that's kind of the point, is that there's not a lot of info. So people don't know what they're getting into. Just kind of like in a lot of life situations, like we don't know what we're getting into. So you just kind of have to trust the process and trust that things are going to be okay. We take people's safety into huge concern. So like we're we're not going to hurt anyone. You might be a little shaken up, a little emotional, but I mean, we're going to give someone a good experience and we're going to be sure that they enjoy themselves, even if they're scared shitless a little bit.
That's the idea. We haven't had the one that's gotten us to a scared shitless state yet, so we're anxious that maybe you guys are the one to finally break us down and maybe get me in the fetal position crying somewhere or something like that. I haven't got it yet. I know it's
I,
out there somewhere.
I think stag is one of those things that's going to come back and haunt you a little bit later. And then you're going to be like, ooh, this is this is more real than I thought it was. Like that's
Very
kind
cool.
of the goal, is that it might not scare you in the moment, but it might be something that comes back and it'll come back to you later on and you're like, ooh, I experienced this. How do I react to this now?
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we look forward to the experience. Now, when we come up for a cult, and obviously I know we just talked about people trying to pry into it and figure things out. Is there anything that you would want to say? Like, I mean, even just like a small glimpse as to what to maybe expect with this summer's coming show, or is it shut up and just come up here?
It's pretty much, shut up and just come up. Um,
Awesome, awesome. I like
but
that answer.
a lot of it, we're still working on ideas. We're still tossing around ideas. We have a big group message, and I'd say at least 2 to 3 times a week, we're all sitting in there messaging because someone has an idea about a scene or a theme to go off of. And we're all pretty creative people, so we're constantly talking about STAG. Like, it is always on our minds. We are always trying to look for different things that we can incorporate, different, like, I mean, it's pretty minimal props, but we're like, oh, we've got this, let's bring this in, or hey, how can I include this? So we're trying to figure out exactly what's happening for a cult. We've got a lot of ideas going. We just kind of need to narrow down, figure out exactly who's going to be where, doing what. We might be tweaking a few of our scenes from the private show to bring into a cult, which will be really cool, because the private show was really in depth and really extensive, but some of the scenes were just so good we don't really want to let them go yet. We want more people to see them, so it'll be kind of cool. So then
Okay,
people who go through can get like that private show a little bit.
nice, nice. Out of the two shows, which one was your favorite one that you did so far? Out of the two,
Oh, I think the private one was for sure, just because it was
cool.
so in depth. I mean, it was like over 2 hours of a show, and we were
Wow,
in and out of scenes. Like, I mean, we were in a ton of parts of it. So each of us had multiple roles. We were doing so much, and like we spent a lot of time together. We had 3 victims in one night, which was a lot. There were a lot of energy drinks that night and a lot of Lunchables. And it was really cool though, because we all, like, as actors, like, we had our own actors room, and we all just had like good bonding experiences, and we got to really joke around. So like even our rehearsals were a little bit longer, and it was cool because we really got to know everyone like on a deeper level. And it wasn't just like, oh, we're doing a half-hour show for people. It was like we're giving them a whole experience with a storyline. We've,
that's
well, some storylines, but it was really, really cool.
that's awesome. Doing the length like that and making it all. That's a nice setup, man. I'd like to see more places, go into that. I mean, we talked about doing shock theater, and it was fun, and and it was a full hour, and even that full hour felt like it was over in 10 minutes. And so it's cool that you're trying to really give them a bang for their buck, man. That's awesome. Um, any other immersive haunts out there that have caught your eye? I'm sure you've maybe looked around a little bit and kind of seen what else is out there. Is there anything else out there that kind of piques your interest a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to go through another like immersive hunt. Like, I want to push myself. I want to like
Awesome. Awesome.
force myself to go through it, because I mean, if I'm acting in something, then I feel like I should also experience it.
Very cool.
Obviously, like, I've heard of Blackout. I haven't watched the documentary. Like I said, I'm a pansy, so I'm like building myself up. Like, okay, I need to watch this. But yeah, just kind of like generally looked around to just like haunts in general. I like go on the web pages and I like look around. I like read reviews and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, could I actually even go through this? Am I gonna cry? Am I gonna cry on the way there? When I'm in it, am I gonna cry? Is it gonna make it worse?
I think the way there and the anticipation before you go into them is always the worst part of it. At
It's
least for
the
me.
not knowing.
Once I'm in,
Right.
I usually kind of get into a groove and relax and just have fun with it. But like when we did shock theater, again, my palms were sweating. We were just waiting in the car for them to text us so we could come in. My palms were sweating. I don't really get antsy, but I was kept digital with my phone, and it was really long. But that's cool that you're looking at going and doing one, man. That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, I don't
You
know
made it good.
what I would do. Um, but I don't know. A lot of the people who are in STAG, they also work at a haunted house, and they're like, they found out that I hadn't been to a haunted house, and they're like, you have to come through. Like, you have to come through our house. And I was like, I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna make it through. They're like, it's okay. Like, you can come in with us. And I was like, okay, but everyone's holding my hands and you can't make fun of me when I start ugly crying.
It's that's wild. That's the first one that we've talked to that's that isn't, into it in every realm. Although Chris Burke was kind of the same way. He wasn't interested at all in doing an immersive hunt. He was strictly walk through and walk through alone. He doesn't want anybody once the ground doesn't want anybody touching it. But cool, cool. So we made a deal with everybody that if we got to 2,000 likes, that we would try and do blackout. We're not sure exactly what all's going on with them right now, but once we find out, hopefully they're still doing some stuff. They've kind of went a little quiet here, but we're going to try and get up there for who I am. Trish isn't going to do it. She didn't make it. But I'm going to go do it, and I'm pretty terrified of that one because I have watched the documentary. And if half of what they say on the documentary is true, that's not going to be a pleasant experience at all. But so last question, we always kind of like to open up the floor, give you the opportunity to say whatever you'd like. Give a little promo, a little shout out for your operation, for what's going on at STAG, everything like that. So take a minute, floor is yours, whatever comes to mind, whatever you want to say.
All right, yeah. So STAG, like I said, we have our upcoming show this summer. We're really excited about it. It'll be in July. Tickets are already on sale, which is really exciting. We've already had quite a few tickets sold. So if people are interested in coming, definitely snag those tickets soon, because there were nights last summer where we were sold out, or we had quite a few hours for waiting because people didn't have a ticket and they just wanted to walk up and come through. So definitely reserve a spot. If you catch us at the end of the night, it's probably even more immersive because we're all slap happy and tired. So, just kind of be forewarned.
Okay.
But yeah, we're super excited about a cult coming up. We have been really working hard to get a head start on this. So we're already starting, like I said, with ideas and everything. We're already talking with the whole cast. We're talking about how are we going to make sure that this hunt is safe for everyone? Are we going to have a story underlying through the whole thing? So that's kind of something that we haven't really toyed with before, is having a storyline that connects every single scene. So we're kind of toying with that idea maybe. We're really pushing ourselves this time to make it be as immersive as it can be. We are supporting Blaine in every way that we possibly can be. She's our mastermind, so we're just kind of sitting here waiting for our script. We're waiting for this. It's I guess when you take the ACT or SAT or something and you're waiting for your test results, that's how I feel right now. I'm waiting to find out if we're if our scores are good enough to be accepted. We're super, super excited though. Like I said, a cult coming up. We kind of ran a poll with the whole cast a few months ago, and Blaine was like, hey, what are some ideas that everyone has? And then we came up with a cult. So we are super excited about it. So yeah, come join us because we're pretty secretive, but we're a lot of fun, and you'll get to see me at some point, maybe.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you. We're also looking forward to talking to the mastermind of all this. She sounds like a very interesting person.
Blaine is a boss. She is killing it. She has her kids. She's running through STAG. She literally runs STAG. She's going to school. She works. Like I said, she has her kids. She takes care of the STAG family. Blaine does everything.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we can't wait to meet her. We're going to see you in July. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you so, so much. Apologies for Monday being an absolute pain. Thank you for bearing with us and getting through here. Again, thank you. You're absolutely wonderful. We cannot wait to see you in July. For everyone else, we're going to hop off here because we got a shitload of other recording that we got to do tonight. So for us here at Honeymooners, thank you, Alex, so much. Good night. We'll see you soon.
Good night. Bye.